Hello there, welcome to the first. This is not an Anime Amigos. Recently aren't here with us this week.
And we've got a lot more space on the couch.
Yeah, this is a lot more space than normal. You got a spiel out there?
Stretch.
Yeah,
It's loads better.
don't get used to it. We're reviewing Death Note next week, so you're going to be
very cramped.
Yeah, but Anime Amigos is still going on. We're very excited to be doing the next couple of ones. But we mentioned when we reviewed Ghost in the Shell and Sword Art Online that we're going to the London Film Festival in a couple of months.
We are indeed.
So we're going to be starting doing our vlog reviews. We're going to at that festival. So we decided we're going to get some practice in now.
Yeah.
Let's get so we're going to be doing a few. We're going to be doing a few films like this in the future. We're really pretty much starting now. I think we're going to do do Kingsman before we go out there.
Yeah,
we're going to do Kingsman at least. I'm dead looking forward to that one.
And it's the first 2 weeks of October is the London Film Festival as well, so it'll be around that time that we're going to be uploading these.
Yeah, but we'll be doing at least one film a day with the London Film Festival. Not sure what we're doing. Not sure what we're doing yet. I saw that thing about that Chris O'Dowd film. It looks like it's an animated film done through like Picasso's art.
Yeah, with Cerise. No, not Picasso's. Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Yeah. With Cerise Ronan and
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan.
That's how you pronounce her name. It's Saoirse Ronan. She's Irish.
So there's a lot of vowels in there that I just sort of can't.
Yeah, I actually learned Irish pronunciation, Val.
Ah, okay. Well, you understand. You can pronounce it better than me, but yeah. So it's got a very good cast.
Yeah, one of my favorite animated films is Song of the Sea, so that helps. Weirdly enough, we are starting with that. We're starting one of these with an anime because we were thinking of doing this as a mini Anime Amigos, but we felt we didn't feel right doing one without at least Reese or Elliot with us. So we decided to make this part of this new set of vlogs we're doing. So we did go see Your Name. It got re-released in UK cinemas this week, which we recorded in we say we're in mid or late August at this point.
We're at late August.
Yeah, so we're in late August. Yeah, and I got the ticket right here.
Oh, as do I. Hang on, matchy.
Yeah, got our tickets.
And we saw it in IMAX. Which
IMAX that was the major reason I wanted to see it again. That's the major reason I wanted to see it again because I saw it at last year's London Film Festival. And I want to see if my opinion had changed on it at all because it's been just under a year since I saw it because it was London Film Festival was the exact same first 2 weeks of October last year. Actually, no, I think it was the first 2 weeks because that was kind of around the time, and I saw it at the very first screen in the UK.
Look at you.
UK, yeah, no, they had a whole thing. It was Makoto Shinkai, who's the director of this, came out and did a Q&A session.
Oh, yeah.
He apparently had a translate. He had a translate with him, but apparently he's got very good command of English.
Oh, fair play.
But I think he said something like he wanted to make sure he got nothing wrong.
Yeah, and it was my first time seeing the film as well. I've heard absolutely incredible things from from a lot of anime reviewers like Glass Reflection, Gio Arcada, Giguk, all absolutely praising the hell out of this thing. And I watched it yesterday, and absolutely phenomenal. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's we'll do our non-spoiler thoughts as well before we go to major. We'll do non-spoilers and minor spoilers at the beginning, and then we'll go to major spoilers. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing about that with the London Film Festival, considering that those films we're going to be seeing are not going to be released to the general public initially. Some of them will, although we will do it with Blade Runner, which we are seeing at the time.
Yeah.
And I know also we're probably going to review Lego Ninjago movie, which you have very mixed thoughts about seeing.
Yeah. To be fair, I haven't seen the Lego Batman film, but again, I've heard really good things.
It's a very good film.
I've seen the Lego movie, really enjoyed that one. But I've only seen the trailer of Lego Ninjago movie, and it just looks iffy. I don't know.
But I thought the Lego movie looked very iffy, or bad, when I saw the trailers for it. And I really liked it.
I think one of the main differences, and the reason I'm quite dubious about it, is because of the cast. The only recognisable name that I saw immediately off of it was Jackie Chan, whereas Lego movie had
Will Arnett,
Chris Pratt, Morgan Freeman.
Oh, right. 2 seconds. Yeah, no, that's the problem with sharing studio space with a phone that's liable to go off every 5 minutes. I'm actually amazed, considering how many times we've shot in here, that that hasn't happened.
Most of the time we do turn it off. I just forgot to do it before, and I, very stupidly thought that it wouldn't do it today, but it did. So
The one day Reese and Elliot aren't here with us is the one day, and the one day I'm not wearing a hat on one of these things is the one day that happens.
it's because you didn't wear your hat. I think the hat and the phone are linked in some way. You have it's preventing the phone from going off.
But this is my second time seeing the film. This is my I think I said I thought it was the first time I've seen it in IMAX, but considering I really didn't notice much of a difference in it, seeing it in IMAX, I think with this screening, I should say, I'm thinking maybe that pop-up cinema that they did it on the South Bank, which is where they did it in London, yeah, last year, because they did it for it was a 60th London Film Festival, so they set up a big special pop-up cinema, specifically for it. It was brilliant because I turned up there and we talked with a few film buffs before the thing went off, and they had this wood oven pizza place, so you get some really nice pizza before, and it was a really surreal experience actually going to see it in that environment. So it was a great film in a great environment. My opinion has not changed. I've been reviewing films now professionally for about nearly 4 years, I'd say at this point.
4 years, you saying?
I was my third anniversary of the Axia Film Society in about a couple of weeks actually.
Hey, happy birthday!
Yeah, which this is one of the best films I've seen in my entire career.
I would actually second that. It's definitely in my top 5. Well, having only seen it the once, and you do have that sort of element of hype coming out of the cinema. You're like, wow, that was incredible. But I do genuinely. When I was watching it, I was trying to criticise it, and I could find very few criticisms.
Yeah, I was
trying to single in on.
Yeah, I was trying to do that myself. I was trying to find some fault in it. I was trying desperately, and I couldn't manage it. It's
the fault in our shooting stars.
Yeah, that makes more sense if you've actually seen the film. If you haven't managed to see it yet, and you live in the UK and you're watching this before around the early time it's coming out, it is coming out again on the 30th of August, and that'll be in its English dub, which we can't comment on the dub. We haven't seen it. I believe Funimation's got the license to it. I'm doing the dub. I'd like to believe that Funimation will do an excellent job because I like Funimation dubs. I've already said several times on Anime Amigos that I like Funimation dubs.
Yeah.
Although I'm only watching 2 at the minute. Sakura Quest and My Hero Academia. But it's very much a case of I properly enjoyed this film to pieces. I will go watch it again in dub.
Oh yeah.
Because because I've now seen it twice in sub, so I'd like to see how good the English voice actors do with this role. Can they deliver it the same way the Japanese seiyuu actors do? But
you're more of an advocate for dub rather than sub, aren't you? You prefer dub.
No, I don't. I wouldn't say that actually. I'd say I like having dubs because I don't want dubs to go. That's the point I was saying. I was trying to. Because if you're dyslexic like me, it's a lot harder to do a sub than a dub. But at the same time, since we started Anime Amigas, I've watched a lot more subs.
Yeah.
Because
the sheer volume that you have to consume.
It's not just the sheer volume. It's also to make sure I'm not behind when I do, as little behind as possible when we get to the end of the season. Videos, and this would. But I just love this film to pieces. I love it. It's so good, and it's very weird how good it is because I'm not a big Makoto Shinkai fan prior to this film, because I saw his other 2 films, 5 centimeters per second and Garden of Words, and he does tell similar story. He tells similar stories to Your Name in both of those movies, but it's 5 centimeters per second. The problem is there's a ton of writers on it. It's actually more like 2 short films and a little epilogue at the end. And it's just the problem is those films are way too short, so we don't get time to really soak it in. And they kind of contradict because there's several writers. They kind of contradict one another. It's that whole idea of too many cooks spoil the broth. That's a big problem. And Garden of Words is a similar deal. It's Garden of Words is a beautifully animated film. In some respects, I'd actually say it's better animated than Your Name is, but it's a lot of style, not a lot of substance.
Yeah.
That's kind of this one's style and substance. That's what I like about it. The animation's just gorgeous in this film.
Like, absolutely stunning. There are a lot of moments where, I mean, it happens quite often with anime movies as a whole. I mean, like, everybody seems to be, every good, well, okay, not every anime fan, but most people have seen Spirited Away. Most people have seen, Howl's Moving Castle, things like that. And there are moments of it where it's just taking you to this completely different world, and it's just visually absolutely stunning. There were moments with that, definitely in Your Name. And another film we saw recently as well, Napping Princess.
Yeah, we did see Napping Princess recently, which you liked. We both kind of liked it, but we felt there was a few issues with it. Like we felt it at times had a bit of a confusing plot, especially the end where I had no grip on reality.
Yeah. We'll be touching on that tomorrow with our reviews that are coming online.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
But should we go into a little bit about the premise for Your Name?
Yeah, let's go into minor spoilers before we go into major spoilers. Yeah. So the basic premise of it is that it's a boy and a girl. The boy's called Taki, and he's from Tokyo. So at this point, we're going minor spoilers. We're not going major spoilers. So you can listen to this bit, and you would still be able to go in and enjoy the film fine. So there's a boy called Taki. He lives in Tokyo. He's got a high school job, all that business, and there's a girl lives in
rural
Japan.
I don't know the name of the book.
I know the name of the place, but it's again, I won't say it because it's a bit of a reveal when it later on down the line. But she lives in sort of very rural Japan, so it kind of looks like, based on when I went out there, it kind of looks like Hakone, that sort of area. Kind of feels like that sort of environment. So it's very much the countryside, rural Japan, but it has a bit of an industrial base going on there. But they're trying to. It's
very rooted in history, though.
It is kind of that whole. But even the most rooted parts of history in Japan seem to have some modern industrial element to them.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
that's, her name is Mitsuha.
Mitsuha, yeah, and they keep waking up in each other's bodies on day to day, and they kind of treat it like dream at first, but then they kind of realise that they actually are swapping places. And it's and they keep sort of they start writing things down to learn stuff and
to communicate to each other what's been happening during the day.
Each other,
establish ground rules and things so that they don't mess up
each other's lives, which seems to be going horribly wrong.
Leads to a good degree of hilarity, to be fair.
Yeah. The early portion of this film is very funny.
Yeah.
And especially a couple moments we'll go into in the major spoilers area, but. We also liked, but then again it goes into and they're going back and forth on this one with a few Radwimps songs thrown into the place, and they actually are kind of enjoying having a break from their lives because they both kind of feel a bit unfulfilled with their life and like they want something a little bit different. And then that keeps happening up until Mitsuha sets up Taki with a date with a girl that works at the Italian restaurant he works at, and she then he realises he definitely wants to talk to her and get in contact with her. So he calls her number on the day of this festival where there's going to be a comet in the sky, and everyone's going to see these beautiful meteor showers. And then, but then when he calls her, it just cuts out completely. There's no answer. He can't get in contact with her anyway, and swaps stop happening. So he sort of takes off to rural Japan to find her. He wants to just find her, and he wants to meet her. So we won't go any further, but we'll discuss what we sort of talked about so far. I like both the main characters in this film.
Yeah, they're both very endearing, and like the fact that you follow both of their lives in both Tokyo, and you see the parallel with rural Japan and the sort of Shintoism that Mitsuha and her family subscribes to.
Yeah,
it actually sort of immerses you in their lifestyle and sort of shows you how different and the ways they enjoy and what they don't appreciate about their own lives. I
think Mitsuha yells out, please in my next life reincarnate me as a handsome boy from Tokyo.
So it really sort of hits home how like the parallels and the upsides and downsides that both of the characters appreciate about their own lives and about the others' lives as well.
I will say, actually, on that point, we said we found it very funny, that my audience in the first screening I had with this laughed a lot more than this audience did.
It was interesting. There were quite a few moments where I was chuckling, and the people, well, I mean, apart from you, on to the right of me, but the person to the left and like in front of me were just sort of like, I don't know, stony faced almost.
So,
I was possibly one of the also one of the only ones who cried, but I mean, I don't know. I did see a couple of wiping of faces, but
because it's a very, very emotional film.
Yeah, that's one of the things we haven't really touched on. It is,
but we've got to get into that in the spoilers area.
Yeah.
But believe me, this is a very, very emotional film, and it's very well written as well. I can pull it off. But I felt like with this film that they took the Freaky Friday plot of the whole body swapping movie, but the whole of the body swapping is it's normally gender to gender. It's like another guy swaps another guy, another girl swaps another girl. Freaky Friday is very much like that. But this is very interesting. It's gender to gender, which leads to some hilarity when they wake up in the opposite gender and want to sort of confirm that they are definitely that gender.
Yeah. There is a good degree of sort of self-fondulation.
Yeah, which someone actually asked the director a question about that when I went to see it. He asked him, and he said it was there was a sexuality element to this film, which is very well, no pun intended, is very well touched upon.
Innuendo.
Oh, shut up. But but that early portion of the film really sucks you into the world, and it's weird because it has an opening. Weirdly, it kind of has an anime opening.
Yeah, there's not many. Well, there's not many anime films that I've seen certainly, apart from like the Digimon movie. I think had one probably. The original one.
Don't remind me of the fucking Digirap.
A lot of the One Piece ones, but like for an actual standalone production, it had.
But all of those still felt like you were watching just a montage of the film and a montage of a thing going on. And this felt like an actual anime opening.
Yeah,
like it gave you the hint of what's to come.
Yeah, like it definitely implied a lot of the things that not a lot of the things. I mean,
and can we say the soundtrack is amazing?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Both the score's amazing and all the J-Rock songs written by the Radwimps are fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've actually bought the soundtrack.
And I will point out one of the things. I mean, it's quite typical with anime openings. You know, when you see the subtitles at the bottom, and like if you read them in English, a lot of the lyrics sort of.
What are the hell?
Yeah, you just like, but like with this, it actually made a good degree of sense.
It's weird that it kind of foreshadows the film quite a bit. If you really pay attention to the lyrics, it actually kind of foreshadows what's going to happen.
Well, it must have been good for seeing.
Which I didn't get the first time. Yeah,
but
which I only noticed on my second viewing. I didn't notice the first time. I thought it was just the usual gibberish. But then when you go back, you realise, holy shit! It's actually. And the weird thing is, I get the sense that they didn't actually write these songs specifically for the movie. I know half the songs do feature on their debut album. But those guys are going to have a massive career after this, because again, this is one of the highest grossing films in Japanese history.
This is a huge step up for them. Well, not step up, but like
it's as I say. But then again, you would say about a lot of people that do soundtracks to films, they don't get that same degree. Like Vanilla Ice did Ninja Turtles. He didn't make it huge. I'm trying to think of his name. John Parr did Saint Elmo's Fire, and he didn't make it huge. He only had that one hit. But I like the film pretty much, but I like the soundtracks so much with this one. There's only really 4. I actually thought the Radwimps did a lot of it, but when you really look back on it, they only actually do 4 songs. No, the first one I got was Zen Zen Zensei, which is the one that's most covered. I'm trying to. And one's called Sparkle, which is that one towards the end, which is very good.
I do just want to mention briefly about the sort of structure of the film. So we mentioned earlier how it's the initial part where you're sort of getting to know each of the characters and all of their environments and things, and then it gets into the part where they're switching regularly. So I'm going to make a point here, and you may disagree with me, but I think the film, it's safe to say, is structured into 3 separate sections really, and. I'll speak more about that a little bit later, but...
I think you're kind of on the money. I would have said 2 sections, but 3 you could push it to, yeah.
But one of the things I want to mention about that is that they actually, with anime as well, you know how they have that, like, once you're 10 minutes into the episode, they have that little, like, that little pause, like the One Punch Man thing, like, you see the logo and you see Saitama, like, punching the screen, and then it continues with the episode. They actually do that with songs from the Radwimps as well. So it's again like a small montage just meant to break up the film.
Which is Zen Zen Zensei.
Which is again like a really interesting thing because it's not something that's often done as far as I know within anime films.
Dream Lantern's the one that's the actual OP.
One. Yeah.
Dream Lantern's the OP one. Sparkle's the one towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
And Nande Moyana is the one that's at the very end, in the end credits. And I really, really, really... but again, also songs are just fantastic.
Yeah.
You can pick up the soundtrack. You can get the soundtrack on iTunes, and it's available. And you can stream the entire soundtrack. I believe you can do it on Spotify. I know you can definitely do it on Apple Music. But I think that's really what we. But I think that's really as far as we can go with minor spoilers at this point. So I think we need to sum it up saying we think this film's fantastic. Whatever way you want to see it, go and see it. It's just one of the best films I've seen.
100%.
I just absolutely adore this film. So this is your last warning, spoiler warning.
We're going to start building the spoiler wall, and we're going to pay for it. But I mean, if you want,
no
if you
more
want
Trump
spoilers,
jokes. We already got into enough trouble with that last time.
Trump is a joke. Okay. Continue. Wall.
Okay. So major spoilers from this point on. Start the video here if you don't want to know everything about this film. So he goes to rural Japan. Taki goes to rural Japan. His friends kind of tag along.
Yeah.
The only one of them was really established. I tell that other guy. I barely remember anything about him.
I can't remember his name. I knew he wore glasses.
It was just he wasn't one of the guys who she was trying to get to bribe out of cakes at the cafe.
Yeah. Just to clarify, this is after the point when Taki has stopped switching bodies with
Mita. But it's not one of the guys that Mita tries to sort of con out of loads of cakes.
No, yeah.
Which led to that really funny line. I thought he was kind of cute yesterday.
So it amounts up because he's curious about no more body swaps. He decides to travel
to find it, and it's going absolutely. All he's got to go on is the fact he's a very talented artist and he remembers what the town looks like. So he's been drawing it.
Visual cues. So he draws the town,
and you just see him keep moving on with his friends doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
They would say, "Oh, all that effort for nothing. You've barely done anything." Again, this film makes the jokes for me. And then he happens to stop by a diner, and the waiter and the owner recognise the town's called Itamori. So he thinks, "Oh, brilliant! I found it." And he says, and then he doesn't quite realise because of the way the memory loss thing works, but because of course they have a bit of a memory loss issue. But then they all realise that town doesn't exist anymore. Because remember we said there was a comet? Well, it got smashed by it.
Yeah.
It's all gone. The entire town is just
massive
gone.
crater, huge crater, just filled with
water. There's a second lake there now. It's hundreds dead, and they just realise instantly that she's probably dead, and it does get confirmed later on down the line.
And secondly, that event also happened 3 years ago. So introducing an element of time travel as well.
So, not time travel, which they hid quite well. Actually, I thought they hid it quite well. I mean, they could have just checked the smartphones to realise, oh wait, it's 2013, not 2016.
Yeah, oh shit! I forgot to check the calendar. All of the days I was in your body. Oh well.
Again, as he realises she's dead, more and more the memories all start disappearing. The posts start disappearing. They can't remember each other's names. Hence why it's called Your Name, because that's the desperate thing to remember. And
another thing, I think we forgot to highlight it before, is the idea of musubi, which is the woven chords, basically, and the idea that time is sort of not measured, but relates to people. I quite
like that, and they kind of imply that it's something that's been going on in her family.
It's like the red twine of fate or something, and there's a lot of symbolism in the actual movie surrounding this.
Because there's a couple of moments where her grandmother sort of recognises that it's not her.
Yeah.
Which implies that she was like that when she was younger.
Yeah, and there's she wears a red bow in her hair. Taki has like a woven red wristband
We won't go into that just yet. That comes in further on down the line.
Yeah.
We'll give our thoughts on that one, but when we give our thoughts on it, but it's such a it's so weird in the sense that you really think there's got to be more to this at the time. You constantly think, and it's such a massive blow because we spent so much time with them, and we realise oh my god, all those characters are dead.
Yeah.
All those characters who grew to like are dead.
And as soon as he's lost the connection with all of the characters, the audience feels like you've lost it as well, because you're just like, well, shit, how the hell does this get resolved?
And
Like,
you're begging for it to get better, and so in desperation. So one of the times they swap, he remembers that the grandmother took her and her little sister, with Taki and Mitsuha's body, and Mitsuha's little sister to this hill, this mountain or this hill, and inside is all this sake that's got part of her in it. So he just, I think out of desperation, he just drinks it to try and get some connection to her, and he ends up going back in time to the day that it all kicks off, and she dies.
So, yeah, go on, I'll let you continue.
But that's kind of where, and that's kind of the middle portion, and that's the second portion. And I really liked that second portion. That was just done so well.
It was really, so I mean, I think the first part was the whole world building, relationship building, and the second part is where they decided to...
It lulls you into a false sense of security.
Oh yeah, it really does. Like the whole comet thing, like it makes it out to be like, oh, it's this stupid...
I mean, the comet's animated beautifully.
Oh yeah, like... and even just after he drinks the sake as well, he has this like he has this sort of
vision
like,
of
vivid
Mitsuha
dream
of her entire life, and it's kind of done like a chalk outline.
Yeah, and as if he's fallen into the water. So like after drinking the sake, he falls back and he basically experiences this.
But what's great
vision.
is he also starts experiencing new memories that he wasn't aware of.
Yeah,
which do get resolved later on down the line. But it's again very well foreshadowed. This film's excellent at its foreshadowing. It knows how to use it, and so he wakes up, and he meets her again, still fondling her boobs, even though he said I probably shouldn't.
Out of respect for her.
And it's just.
I mean, to be fair, I can kind of empathise. If I woke up and I sort of had breasts, once or twice maybe.
We've learnt a lot more about you than we wanted to know. You are aware this is going on YouTube, right? You are not going to be able to start your Magic the Gathering channel now with any sense of dignity.
Don't ask, don't tell.
That's the interesting thing about and then it moves into him in her body trying to get to her mate and say, look, we're all going to die. They just take her word for it for some reason.
Good friendship.
A very good friendship. And they decide, so what's the correct solution to this? Let's blow up the power station and use the emergency intercom at the school to get everyone to a bomb shelter in the high school. At least I think it was that. Or is it like the high school wasn't going to get that well hit?
Yeah, so the high school was out of the blast radius of the meteor. So their plan was basically to create a sort of panic, hijack the intercom system that's around the town, and then evacuate everybody outside of the blast radius to the school.
Because it's a case of that there's also an autumn festival going on
so
at the time.
So it's like 500 odd people were gathered there for this festival.
Which only increased the amount of deaths that happened. So as a result, so as a result of it, the death toll is just financially. One thing we haven't really mentioned about is Mitsuha's relationship with her father, because it's
that's an interesting one. So Mitsuha's father is the mayor of the town, and
he's going up for re-election at this point in time.
And Mitsuha's mother died shortly after giving. Well, not shortly. A couple of years after.
Because she has a little sister.
That's right. Yeah, after she gave birth to her little sister, and.
Insert topical disease here.
Yeah, and that put a lot of stress on her family's relationship with her father, who left the house that he lived in with Mitsuha's mother and her grandmother, which was also a sort of Shintoist.
So the grandmother's kind of taking care of him.
So the grandmother took over care. But the father is then also mayor of the town, and he's
very strict. He's very strict. Very much into the old ways, and you kind of imply that he's corrupting half the town's biggest players to support him, because Mitsuha's friend's father runs the power station. He's kind of basically saying, I'll get my entire workforce to vote for you.
Yeah.
But so Mita has kind of holds a bit of resentment towards him because again he kind of insults her in public.
And it's interesting to note that while her friends immediately took her request at face value to evacuate everybody at the town because she had a premonition about the future and major deaths in the town, her father, who's the mayor of the town, didn't believe a word of it and wouldn't do anything to help, despite the fact he easily had power to get everybody to a safe spot. And
I can't remember whether Taki is honest with him and says the comet's going to hit, or if he tries to make up a fake thing.
Yeah, I can't quite remember.
I can't quite remember off the top of my head. And we only saw this last night as well.
Yeah, I feel like he was honest.
I think he said the comet's going to go nuts, and of course every prediction that the thing was it wasn't predicted for that to happen. So obviously there wasn't even a possibility of this, so no one's going to believe them.
Yeah. I mean, plus, like, if anybody came up to me and told me, like, you know,
the meteor's going to hit.
Mass deaths and things. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to.
You're going to think they're crazy, yeah. So let's be fair. Let's be fair. People will say, "Oh, there's a lot of people that laughed when they said the world was round." Yeah, but there was also a lot of people that also said things like the end of the world's coming in 1984, and they deserve to be laughed at.
Yeah.
But
until it actually happens, at which point we're over.
Yeah, fine,
sorry, my bad.
Still waiting for the 2011, the 2012 apocalypse.
Yeah.
But I think there's someone actually predicting the world's going to end in 2019 now.
I actually, sorry, just as a tangent, I was in New Zealand at the beginning of this year, New Year's Day, and I was approached by, like, me and a group of my friends were approached by a dude with a big backpack, big beard, and he was telling us about this is for everybody who's watching as well. If you're in Europe at the end of this year, apparently there's going to be a massive nuclear holocaust between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. So, just so you know, don't be in mainland Europe. But, like, you know, see, the reason he illustrated this is because he actually took out all of these star charts and things and cosmological, diagrams, and just sort of explained it to us. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I see where you... So the people have logic, but it's difficult to sort of justify. Anyway, sorry about that.
It's but that's kind of it is kind of like that though, with the way
it is. I mean, like if you're approached by someone and they're just going to say, well, this is going to happen tomorrow, like, likelihood is you're not going to believe them. But I mean, if it's your daughter, as is the case with Mitsuha and her father, you might want to attribute a little bit more truth to it, maybe. I don't know, but yeah.
The thing is, he just treats her like she's mad. I mean, he kind of gets this implied idea that he recognises that it's not actually meant to her.
And funnily enough, as we mentioned before, her grandmother does as well. Her grandmother recognises and sort of speaks to her about the fact that she's had a similar experience in the past of living with other people's lives, but sort of dismissed it as a dream. But yeah, so following that event, her father doesn't decide to help, despite the fact he has the power to. And she's left to Tessie, her friend, also gets caught, and her other friend who's on the intercom speaking to everybody also gets caught. So the plan almost fails, but she managed... I don't remember, how did she manage to do it in the end?
They don't know. That's we don't actually quite know.
We're left wondering, and
it's kind of this big thing because they both recognise that they're both at the hill at the same time, and
yeah.
Because Mita wakes up in Taki's body and actually sees the town destroyed.
That's right,
and realises that she died.
Yeah.
She was hit directly on the thing. I know...
There's so many elements to mention and to touch upon that we like. I mean,
but
we don't have we don't really want to make this video too long to touch on all of it because we will just be here.
We'll just be here for hours. But the point, so they both sort of meet and they both agree they're going to write their names on each other's hands, which leads to a brilliant moment that I won't dare spoil.
Yeah.
Even in this mention, I don't want to spoil, but it's one of the best moments of the film.
Yeah.
I think that's one I want you guys to experience on that one. But it gives me even the motivation when it all seems like it's all going down, because as much as they sort of nearly pull it off, they kind of get they do blow up the power plant. They do get the intercom going and tell people they don't tell people that it's me. They tell people it's a forest fire.
Yeah, and to vacate the area basically to get to the school to be safe.
But then they get captured and say, actually stay where you are.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, go. But then people start realising, and it's implied that the kids actually do talk them into it.
Yeah.
It's kind of got this idea of, it's kind of got that secondary message of listen to the the young people actually do have something to say, and they might actually be telling the truth on some things, which I think is a good message to be saying. I mean, but it's kind of similar to even the East in that sense, which kind of had a sense that the generations have to not stubbornly hang on to power; they have to pass on.
Lower the voting age.
Yeah, I agree. But it kind of has that sort of message in these.
It really does. Yeah.
But which this film kind of holds. It kind of holds this message of the next generation is going to be the builders, so we have to support them in that. We can't just blindly hold on to power and knock them down every chance we get.
Yeah.
And Mita goes to her father because she's motivated by something that Taki does, and realizes, because they actually kind of start forgetting each other's names again after their meeting, and they do their final swap back, and Mita is back in Mita's body. She goes to her father, and you're hoping that she's managed to convince him to help people get to the high school, and then we just see
it's the whole sequence,
the disaster. And I will say actually, the director actually, when he was in the Q&A session, Makoto Shinkai, he actually said that he was very inspired by a lot of the thoughts and feelings and the imagery of the tsunami in Japan, and you can really see that in the actual film.
It's the being able to. It's the idea that like
you can save someone.
You can go back in time. Well, I mean, if you could go back and do it all again with future information, like so many lives would have been saved, and it's definitely
hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah, and obviously, it's impossible to calculate for these events in any circumstance at all.
We felt, and then it's kind of left to black on what happened to them.
Yeah.
So really major spoilers now because we're going to go into the ending.
Yeah.
So it then kind of cuts years later. They can't remember, but you only see Taki for quite a while because
it's
implied that
there's a lot of implications.
There's a lot of implications of various bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Because it immediately tells us that some people got out alive because it says in the Russian news broadcast, it says no deaths.
Yeah.
But 140 people were injured. But and it was only, and they say they happened to be running an emergency drill, and that just happened to save, which was lucky because it just happened to save them. And so that all's going on, and we kind of. But it's kind of left up in the air whether. Yeah. So we kind of know Mita made it out alive.
But they have no connection to each other anymore.
They have no memories of it. They kind of do. They kind of feel like something's missing.
They've got like an interior yearning, like a sort of subtle.
Taki apparently was like Taki said, he was very interested in the comic crash of it. He didn't know why.
He was drawn.
And he's looking for someone or something, and he's failing at several job interviews. He kind of.
Yeah.
In that position of he's out of college, but he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, and he just feels like something's there.
And he can't remember anything about her friends. Like he has the interior feeling that he's missing someone or something.
And I actually felt for one moment they actually weren't going to do anything with it. I thought that was going to be the ending of it. It was just going to be he acknowledged there was something there, and then we just get a slight fade to show that Mita was alive and having the exact same feeling.
Yeah,
I thought that was going to be it.
And closing scene.
But we'll get into detail on that one. We'll get into detail on that one because it's we lead to so it leads to various things, bits and bobs. Like he's in that cafe, and then Mita's friends are revealed to still be alive, and they're getting married.
He sees a glimpse of her.
Briefly,
a red ribbon,
which
on the train station.
We're wondering, is that her?
Yeah.
Which again, I thought they were going to fake it. I thought they were going to fake us out with that one.
Same.
And it was going to just be a coincidence. But then he happens to spot her on another train.
And they're both on the windows, right by the windows of each train, running parallel to each other.
And then it sort of starts coming back, and they run, and they both sort of get off. They run down they reach this pass, and you think they're just going to pass each other, and they think it hasn't worked. But then he turns around and says, "I think we've met each other."
Yeah. Oh, it's. And then
she
says, I thought the same, or something. Ah.
And then they both get and it's implied that they both get their memories back. The final line of the film is, "Your name is," and that's it. And that's where the film ends. And it's a perfect ending.
It's so good. I can't stress enough how good it is.
I'm going to help myself to a blackberry. I'm going to help myself to a mint for that. By the way, we're not in London, so in the London Film Festival, we're going to be somewhere different to this.
Yes, yeah. So, are we bringing these with us, the banners and things?
I don't know if we're bringing the banners with us. I think I'm going to get some. I'm going to see what I'm going to take a look at the apartment's blueprints. A very good idea when we're doing a vlog to do something.
Yeah.
Your voice.
Yeah. Well, we've got notes of it now, so you'll remember. But yeah, like I mean, in all honesty, I think this film was absolutely perfect in terms of storytelling technique, because there were never parts that you were absolutely certain about. But like, if you were watching it, and at any given moment, you never knew what was going to happen. And I think that was in part done because, like, you know, you had the separate storytelling, you had the communication between the two characters, eventually, and
this wasn't nominated for Best Animated Feature.
How? I don't understand.
But if you take the 5 films that were nominated, which one would you want to kick out in place for this one? Because the 5 films that were nominated were The Red Turtle, which you haven't seen.
I haven't seen The Red Turtle.
Moana, Zootopia, My Life as a Courgette, which I know you haven't seen.
Nope.
It was very it wasn't that well released. I'm going to review it when it comes out on DVD.
Mm.
And what was the other one that got nominated? It wasn't Ice Age. No, Kubo and the Two Strings.
Ah, okay. I mean, out of those, I would actually take out Zootopia. I did enjoy it, and I know you like Zootopia a lot.
Yeah, it was in my 10 best films of 2016 list.
I think that this would top it for me.
No, I would.
I love Moana.
I think I would take. Out of all those, I would say I'm a close tie between Moana and The Red Turtle, but I think I'd probably say, which I also saw at London Film Festival last year, but
I thought Kubo and the Two Strings was great. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really good film.
Yeah.
But I really like. I felt out of all, Moana was the one where I didn't quite fully go for it. Although I felt like a second viewing actually improved my opinion of it. And I will say, as I'm getting a bit sick of people saying, "Oh, The Rock can't sing." He's not doing too bad.
He's decent. I see what's happening.
Don't.
Face to face with greatness, and it's strange.
You know,
I know pretty much all the lyrics.
Well, that's because you're obsessed with the Hamilton soundtrack, and it's the same guys who wrote that. But I will say that don't anymore. We're going to get a copyright strike. But I'm not sure he entirely qualified for that Oscar now that come to think of it. So if it doesn't qualify, it must get nominated next year and win. Because
with the re-release around the in the UK and US,
and it got its major release in America in April. And again, people were buzzing for it then. But if I was to go by the films that came out in America in 2017, this would be my best film of the year. If I'm going by, I can't do it for British films because it technically got released last year.
Yeah.
But I'd seen it again now. I'm really struggling to say which film I prefer, this or A Silent Voice. But Silent Voice is really good as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen Silent Voice. But...
Seriously, I'll lend you the DVD when it comes out because you'll love it. It's another emotionally rending. Although this one has no supernatural. The Silent Voice has no supernatural elements to it. It's a slice of life story about a bully that bullies this little girl with that's deaf. But then when he gets caught out for it, his friends abandon him, and years later, he feels terrible about himself, and he thinks he's going to commit suicide, but then he decides he's going to apologise to her before he does it, and he talks himself, and then he kind of forms a connection with her. And
right, no, yeah, I do actually. I've definitely heard about this.
It's a very good film done by Kyoto Animation. I seriously recommend it. But it's both of those films. Those two films, I can't pick a winner at this point. If I had to compare Your Name and Silent Voice, I wouldn't want to compare them. I
will say, as soon as I got out the cinema for Your Name, I did immediately just want to go and sit and watch it again because there's so many details that I actually envy you for it being the second time you've seen it. I mean, obviously, like it was about a year apart, but like there's so many details and little nuances that I feel I would pick up on if I watched it a second time, and it just It definitely has rewatch value. I would imagine it has rewatch value. Cal can tell you if it does. But
yeah, it has very much rewatch value. I knew all the plot elements for going into this screening we're talking about now, and my opinion hasn't changed. I mean, I've had almost a year to think on this film, and it's still a film where it feels like every film I've seen since it, I've thought, that's really, really good, but it's not been a Your Name. The only one that's come close has been A Silent Voice. Of all, and I've been seeing, and considering 2017's been a great year for films so far.
Yeah.
I'd say it's been some amazing films. Like I loved Get Out. Logan was fantastic.
Emoji Movie.
Don't talk to me about the fucking
Despicable
Emoji
Me
movie.
3. What is it?
I don't hate Despicable Me 3. I would say.
Yeah, it was tolerable. I remember you saying.
Yeah, but it's very clear they're running low on ideas.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I stand with it. I don't know. Would I put this above the Miyazaki films?
Which ones?
Some of them, yes. Others, no. I wouldn't. I wouldn't say I'd like to. I wouldn't say I'd take. Spirited Away is an absolute masterpiece. Do you think it can compete with that film? I think it can compete. I'm not sure if it's better.
Spirited Away's odd because it's done from a very different perspective. You can compare them, but you can't contest them. I don't think.
Again, Miyazaki never tried to do teenagers. That's the big difference. He always tried to do sort of young children or adults.
Yeah, and I think the difference is like Spirited Away is so accessible, whereas Your Name, you have to kind of. Well, I mean, like, I'm not saying it's difficult to understand. At times it can be a little bit.
But it feels more like it's made for an anime crowd than it is.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, I think it's actually a lot more accessible than people have given it credit for, and even its own marketing department has given it credit for.
I've had a few friends who have only seen Spirited Away, like Porco Rosso and things. And
I think they would love this film.
Yeah.
I think George Weirdo. I actually, when I went to the first screenings at the London Film Festival, there was a very mixed crowd. Like there was an elderly couple. There was a few rows down from in front of me. I think they were all just trying to see one. I think it was just because they liked the London Film Festival. They just wanted to see what was on. But it got a standing ovation.
Really?
Yeah, no, it got a standing ovation. So and it's but the hype around this film. I remember I struggled to get tickets for it.
Wow.
Because it had 3 screens at London Film Festival. One of them sold out within 10 minutes.
Bloody hell.
I luckily got the one I wanted, but it was sold out so quick. And because the word of mouth was just so good. And at one point, this was the highest rated anime on Anime Planet.
I will say, instead of comparing it to Spirited Away, I'd say it's a logical next step.
It kind of feels like with Ghibli although Ghibli has come back now.
Yeah.
I mentioned it to you last night because when we were getting the train back, you were saying, there's no Ghibli anymore, so this kind of replaced that. But I was saying, actually, Ghibli's apparently coming back, which I'm very happy. And a lot of the animators and directors have gone off to form this new studio called Studio Peridot, which has a film coming out. I think it's just come out or came out last month. It came out last month actually. Directed by the guy who directed When Marnie Was There, which is another one of my favourite Ghibli films.
You said that was really good.
That's amazing. That can compete with every single one of the Miyazaki films. It's so good. It could be. I even think it can compete with Your Name. I saw both of them in 2016, and it was. I'd say When Marnie Was There was just as good. He's done a very similar thing he did with this one. It's another British novel done as an anime, but this time it's Maria and the Witch's Flower, which isn't the title of the book, I should point out. But it's very. I've heard some good things about it. I'm hoping it's at the London Film Festival, so we might be reviewing that one. So that's it. I don't think we're going to do another one of these this month, are we?
Well, we're doing an Anime Amigos next week about
Death Note.
Speaking about Death Note and whatever else we've been watching, really.
We're going to be doing our thoughts on all Death Note, the series and the Netflix movie, and we're going to be giving our Netflix anime recommendations.
Yeah.
And we're also reviewing. I know next month we're going to do a couple of things. We're definitely going to review.
Summer Anime Roundup, isn't it, really?
Yeah, we've got Summer Anime Roundup next. And we're also going to do a vlog review of Kingsman.
Yes, we will.
Which is probably one of my most anticipated films of the year. Because I loved the first Kingsman film. You're not the biggest fan of it.
No, I love the Kingsman film. I just think that the second one looks... from what I've seen from the ads, it just looks a bit like...
It definitely looks like
it's playing... a cop-out, I don't know.
It looks like it's playing more to an American crowd, definitely.
Yeah. Well, nothing wrong with that, again, but I believe it's straight in the source material now, so it's on its own tangent.
I read the comic. It's it's very good that it's straight from its source material. As much as I think Mark Millar's a decent writer and Dave Gibbons is a really good artist. I mean, Dave Gibbons co-created The Watchmen, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But as much as good as it is, it's not that. It's not actually that great. Do you know there's a funny story that the Blade Runner in it? She was actually originally supposed to be played by Oscar Pistorius.
What?
I'm not joking now. This is directly from Matthew Vaughn, the director's mouth. Apparently, they approached Oscar Pistorius' people, and they said, and I quote, and I'm not making this up, can Oscar make a convincing killer? And what's even creepier is the original comic features that same villain killing someone by shooting them through a door.
Oh, what?
I've blown his mind. It's all this was all on The Last Leg. Yeah, they mentioned about it because people were saying, is it okay that an able-bodied actor played a disabled character? And he was pointing, and Matthew Vaughn actually wrote in and said, I wasn't doing it out of malice. It was purely because it was very difficult because Oscar wasn't available for it. Most of the Paralympians didn't want to do it because it was a lot of time out of. It was such a big role and it was a lot of time out of training. And they did actually get one woman, but she declined it eventually because she didn't want to play an amputee who makes other people amputated.
Fair.
And so eventually they just decided to use an able-bodied actress.
I mean, to be fair, I was not concerned, and it raised a little issue in my head, obviously. But I mean, I do think she did an incredible job, and I do love that actress. She was in The Mummy, and she's in Atomic Blonde as well, which was just released with James McAvoy.
Yeah, but we don't hold The Mummy against her because.
I mean, she was good in The Mummy as The Mummy, but she.
God, that film was awful.
It was a bad film, so just.
I remember kind of thinking it was alright at the time, but then the more I dwelled on it, I realised I was bored out of my skull. I don't want to go into too much detail because I actually saw it with a very close friend at the time, and when she watched this back, and she's going to be pissed with me. So that's a conversation. These are all conversations for another time.
Yeah.
We'll definitely see you back for Anime Amigos, but we'll be doing another one of these vlog reviews in September when we review Kingsman, and we'll be doing our summer anime roundup.
We will indeed.
See you soon.